get yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. Gradually let yourself relax down inside of yourself. And go where you go when you go. She had a near-death experience when she was 6, and ever since then, she's been talking to God, having these little conversations. And it's not just, kind of, sort of, this is a real deal. And so she's been doing these wonderful God jobs over the years, and she's going to come and talk to us about that, and also how it's evolved into her work with these wonderful healing bowls. So please give a warm welcome to Debbi Rosales.
Okay, you may have recognized me as checking people in, because that's a volunteer job that I have, but not today. Yes, could you? Yes. Okay, so welcome, and I want to say that when I get done, I will be playing my bowls, so I don't know if the people farther away want to come forward, because the vibration is much higher, closer, and that's something to think about, okay? And so, anyway, my name is Debbi Rosales, and I live in McHenry. Can everybody hear me? Yes. No?
You might need to use the
Can we turn it, let me see, can we turn it up?
No.
Oh, okay, I'll just do a little closer. Yes, I can use that too, okay. So anyway, I have been a nurse for my life. This is my lifetime occupation. And I've been a nurse up until a year and a half ago. And a year and a half ago, then things have changed for me. But one of the things that's helpful for being a nurse is that when I was a little girl, I had a near-death experience. and to explain what happened with my near-death experience. When I was a little girl, I had rheumatic fever. And this is a disease that can attack your muscles. And sometimes the muscles that it can attack is your heart. And so, believe me, I'm 64, and healthcare was not the way it was then. People sometimes did die when they had things. And I remember that my mother, she was worried about me, so she had been having me sleep on the sofa outside of her bedroom. And I remember that opening my eyes in the middle of the night, and that I felt myself like a cloud start to rise up. And I started to rise up out of my body, all the way up, through the roof. And I went through the ceiling, then I went through the second floor, and then I realized I was through the roof of the house. And I probably should have thought about what would my family think, but I had no thought of that. You know how I felt? I am free! I love it! Oh my God, look at the stars! They're so bright! And the sky is so dark! Oh my gosh! And in the left, there was a big bright light. And the light was like a magnet and was pulling me up there. And as I went up toward that light, I heard a voice, an unfamiliar voice, say, "It is not your time to go, you must return back to your body." And when he said it, I went all the way down through the roof, all the way down to the ceiling, back into my body. And when I went into my body, boom, I felt like I bounced. And then what happened is I turned over to my left, let me see here, and next to me was Babaji. And he was standing there, and when I looked at him, he's a weird kind of a guy for a 6-year-old to see, and I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm your angel. I was with you before you came to this earth, and I will be with you until you die." And he said, "And my name is Babaji." And I said, "You're my angel?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you look up on the ceiling," and he had elephants on parade dancing around the ceiling. I mean, if you ever saw for Dumbo, they had elephants on parade. And when I saw the Dumbo movie, I thought, how did they get the elephants on parade in the movie? Because that's just what it looked like. And he said, "You watch that, and you stay where you are, because I'm going to get your mother." And so what he did was he must have went in and awoke my mother somehow, because of course, you know, I was very sick. But all of a sudden, I heard my mother scream, "Artie, Artie, take her to the ER!" Because she knew there was something that had happened. And when I went to the ER, I don't remember anything besides my father scooping me in his arms. And then I was in the hospital for quite a long time. And I was unable to walk for a long time. I think it might have been related to, my muscles were very weak, but also my heart. I was in a wheelchair for quite a while. And when this happened, I was in kindergarten. And so by the time I got back to kindergarten, it was later on in the year. And I couldn't do recess for 2 years. And every day at lunch, they'd call me up for milk, which I didn't like, but that was okay. But the thing about it is that when this happened, some people may say, "Well, you know, you could be a walk-in." Well, I really don't know if I'm a walk-in or not. But I will say this, I do not remember anything of my life before this happened. It was like, this is where my life did start. Because what happened was, that's when I started hearing the voice of Babaji and the angels. And that never went away. And so, throughout my life, when things would come up, that maybe somebody lost their dog, they'd say, "Go see Jimmy. He's upset because he lost his dog." Or they would say, you know, like one time my mother almost died, they told me to come and help her, and I did. I always had what I call God jobs. Because sometimes God needs somebody to be his voice, or just be there to just comfort people, or whatever, and that's my job. Well, with Diane, I loved it because she said, I'm a God conversationalist. Well, I guess it could be like that, but I will say that Spirit is my friend and talks to me all the time and tells me what I need to do, and I'm available to help, because as human beings, that's what we're there for, service. And it was very handy for my nursing career too. It's a good thing to have a voice to help you with that. Now, I would say, when we talk about God jobs, what is a God job anyway? I mean, you look, these are God jobs. Anybody can have God jobs. Giving somebody a hug, holding their hand. You know, I've gone before where I've given them my coats. Oh, well. Well. Okay, well, anyway. So there are varying degrees of what a God job can be. And everybody has a potential to have God contact them and help them. And it may not be through a voice. It may be through other things, like this. It may be you're thinking about something and asking God, and ask him because he's as near as your hand. You can ask him, what do you think about this? And if you can't hear it, maybe he'll ask your cousin to relay this to you. Or you may turn on the radio and there's a song that is specifically the answer. It could be that somebody says something and all of a sudden you have a feeling going up your spine, or your hair on your arm stands up, and you have a deep knowing. It may not always be a voice, it may be just a knowing. And also it may be that you have an individual, that you have a relative that has gone on, that you were very close to, and they'll let you know and give you the feeling of what you need to do. For example, my grandmother, she always wore rose perfume. And when she comes to me, I smell roses so strong. And I know it's her. Because some of it is also discernment. And so that's kind of a handy thing to do God jobs, when you can have the discernment. And the discernment is when you go within and you just kind of get quiet and you have a feeling. Some people can get it in prayer. I mean, there are many ways that God can communicate besides the voice of Babaji. And I thought for many years that Babaji, nobody knew about him. This was a secret. And anyway, for years, up until 63, I really didn't relay about the God jobs to too many people. Because I felt like this is a job that I do with God, and this is my personal thing. And then what happened is I went someplace with Diane, as a matter of fact, Celebration of Life, a women's celebration conference we went to. She said, there may be somebody you want to talk to there, or somebody you need to see. I guess you need to be there in Phoenix. And I went with her, and while I was there, somebody said they were channeling my mother, and she has a message for me, and my mother said, and she said, the girl said, I feel like my face is hurting on the right. Why does my face hurt on the right? And then, all of a sudden, I started hearing my mother's voice. And my mother said, because you won't tell your stories. And I said, I tell the stories. I said, your God job stories. People want to know what is happening. You should tell your stories and share them. And you won't. Why won't you do it? I want you to do it. So then I said, okay, if your mother tells you, I guess you have to do it. But I was thinking to myself, and I told God, I argued with him, and I said, I don't really know if I should come here and talk about these. I don't really think I have enough stories. And God said, I want you to do this. He says, you get a legal pad and starts writing the stories I tell you about. Now don't forget, now 64. This is when I was 6. And so then he's telling me things I don't even remember, 8, 10, 12, 15 years old. And what about this, and what about that? Write them down, write them down, write them down. Pretty soon, I had 78 stories. And then I said, well, that's probably enough to talk for 90 minutes. I guess I could do that. And so this is how I came to decide to come. I did my PowerPoints are working, Karen? Okay, all right, well, okay. So let me give you an idea of how, well, this is good because I can just walk around, right? Okay, I'm going to give you an idea. For one thing, I'm not a speaker, or I'm a nurse. I'm a God job person. That's it. So for me, this is the first time I've told people things like this in public. So I'll give you an idea of what it is. I'll give you a story. This is how God supported a young man with cancer. Now this happened when I was about 30 or 28. And I was friends with this guy that was the head of the power plant in Coal City. And he had a spread out there. He had it catered, and he had all of these tents out there, and it was really a fancy, and I got a dress on, and I had my kids, 3 kids up there in the kitchen, and with my husband, and I'm going through the line, and they got the spread loaded with everything in the kitchen. So I'm going down the line in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden, God said, would you do a God job for me today? And I said, well, okay, but I'm at the party now. He said, no, I need you to do it at the party. I need you to talk to somebody at the party. And I said, well, okay, do I know him? And he said, no. I go, oh, I don't? And he said, no. I said, well, okay, well, it's for the highest and best, God. I'm for this. But listen, if you're going to talk to me and it's somebody I don't know, do me a favor. Don't stop talking in the middle of it, because I'll look like that. And he said, little one, would I do that to you? I said, no. He says, all right, well, this is his name, Bill, and I'll say his last name is W. And he said, this is his name, ask Peggy to introduce you. He said, you see him over there? And I looked, he's about a 32-year-old, 33-year-old young man. And he had some shorts on and a white little polo on, and his wife was with him about 7 months pregnant. And he says, that's who you're talking to. And he says, you got to go over there, get Peggy to introduce you. This is the person who has the house. So then I told my husband, take care of the kids, I'll be back in a little bit, I got to do something. So then I go over there and I said, say, Bill, Peggy introduced us, and then I said, okay, Bill, can I just talk to you for just a little bit? And he said, I told his wife, I said, let me just take him aside for just a minute. I said, don't worry. I said, I'll bring him right back when I'm done with him. And then I just took his arm and walking along with him, and then I say, okay. And then here's what God said. He said that when then the doctor told you you had lung cancer, and you were, he said, and they told you were going to die, and they said you had a tumor in your lung, and you got on your knees at 2 in the morning and said, please God, no, don't do this, and you heard God say, you are healed, you are healed. God wants you to know it was Him. That voice was God. And then I said, oh, my goodness, isn't that something? I said, and you look so good. And he said, and he fell, and he grabbed my legs, and he said, nobody knew. He said, if I told her, I could have lost my child. She would have been upset. And he said, but God did say that. I said, yes. And you know what? He told me to come to tell you it's real, and you are healed. Isn't that great? And then he goes, oh my God, thank you. And then I helped him back up, said, come on now. I said, you don't have to worry about anything anymore. And then God said, oh, by the way, you're going to have a beautiful baby boy. And I said, well, God said you're going to have a beautiful boy. How about that? And I said, isn't that wonderful? And I said, well, it's been nice knowing you, Bill. This is all that he wanted. This was a boy. He said, I couldn't even tell my mother. That's what he said to me. Because she would have lost the baby. I said, I understand. But you see, he didn't want you to know to bear this anymore. He wants you to know you're taken care of. That is an example of a God job that I'm talking about, okay? But the one thing I did learn a few things for this. Is I've learned that it is, sometimes God directs you at seemingly inopportune times to do a God job. But you know what? Just go ahead and do it. Because your job is for God, right? So whatever it is, just go ahead and do it. If you feel awkward, just step out and assist the stranger. And I also learned that it is good to see a miracle, say a miracle, feel it, and live it. Because miracles all around. And if you assist God with the miracles, this is what he wants for everybody. How he can go through a person to create what he needs. So I'll tell you a story of another God job to give you another example. Okay, now this was a pretty fun one. But here's what happened. My husband and I, he has a gold wing, and we go on gold wing episodes all around the country. And so what happened is we were going to Billings, Montana to go to a gold wing rally. And so what we did was we left Chicago, and then we were driving, and then we stopped, and now it was like southern Minnesota, an Iowa border. And so we were stopped at a truck stop. So we stopped at the truck stop, and he goes in to go in to pay to get some gas. He's going in to get some gas for the motorcycle. And I'm sitting there because it's a beautiful day, and I'm just looking beautifully at the sky, and I said, oh, this is really beautiful. I don't have to work. This is happening. I'm on vacation. Then what happens? God said, I want you to buy a lottery ticket today. And I said, now listen, you know I don't like to buy lottery tickets. That's a waste of money. And God said, I think you might win today, so I think you better buy a ticket. And I said, I'm going to buy a ticket? Tell David to go get a ticket for you, would you? I said, okay, all right then. So I got in my purse, got out a buck, and David comes back, and I said, oh, listen, when you go in there, will you do me a favor? Would you get me whatever they want, just get a lottery ticket? Now, I just want to remind you that this is my dollar, and if I win, I get the money. And he goes, yeah, okay. Well, I said, just have a good feeling about it. He said, you don't like to buy a lottery ticket. Today, I buy a lottery ticket. Just get the buck for me, would you? And go get it. And he goes, okay. He goes in and buys a lottery ticket. So then we go about our business, and we go on, and then we go to North Dakota. And we're there at Sioux Falls, North Dakota, late at night. And it just so happened it was a Saturday night. So this was after the lottery. So I told the man, I said, do you have any way to check for lottery tickets here? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, it's not yours, but it's the other in Iowa. He says, no problem. I can do it. So he checks the lottery ticket, and he said, you won. And I said, beautiful. How much I win? He said, you won $200. And I said, all right then. All right then. Good. Beautiful. I told you, David, I was going to win that $200. And he said, I told you, God wants me to win the $200. So then I took the 200. I said, could you front me that $200 because you got enough on vacation? When we go through Iowa, I'll give it back to you. But I want to put it in my purse. And he said, well, what are you going to do with it? And I said, because I knew it wasn't my money, it was God's. And I said, we'll find out when God tells us what to do with it. And he goes, okay, good. So I took the $200, and I put the $200 in my wallet, put it right in there, and I said, don't forget, it was my buck. He goes, all right. So then what happens, we go up to the next day, we go to Billings, Montana. It was several days up in Billings, Montana. But then, I told him, you got to bring a couple pair of jeans when you're on a Goldwing trip, but he only brought one pair. So I said, fine, let's go get a couple of cheap jeans over to Walmart. So we go over to Walmart, and I'm sitting there, and he's trying on jeans, coming out there, seeing what jeans he wants to wear. Meanwhile, there's a boy next to me, and he's 19, maybe 20, looks very tired and very dirty. And he sat next to me, and he had a wife, a young wife, maybe 18, who came out trying on dresses. And then, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I said, oh, doesn't she look cute? He said, yes, but I can't afford any more than one dress. And she keeps trying to get me to talk into more. I said, I have a daughter that's very sick right now. I have to buy medicine for her. I work 2 jobs. I can't do any more than I'm doing. I go, wow. I mean, if you have a son, it breaks your heart to see a young boy like that. But then what happened? He's talking to me, and then his wife says, okay. He says, all right, take the blue one. And then she says, okay, fine. He puts it in the cart. David comes out. I got my pants. Okay, good, let's go. So then we go, and we start. He takes off down the road, down the aisle. And then God said, he gets the money. I go, oh, I think that's a great idea. He gets the money. Oh, so nice. His wife could get a dress. She could get the, wait a second, we got to get him. So David, I said, that boy that was right outside of there, he's the guy that gets the money. We got to find him. So we get this cart chasing him. No, we got to get that guy. And then finally, I saw him down in the pharmacy buying Tylenol for his little girl. And I said, okay, there he is. At first I said, oh, I'm so happy that God picked him. What a choice, I told God. That's a beautiful idea. But I didn't, at first I was so choked up because it was perfect that I didn't really want to approach him. So I asked David, could you approach him? I don't want to insult him. So he says to the guy, he says to that boy, I hope you don't mind. And he shakes his head. We're from Chicago. My wife's a nurse. She said that she was sitting at a gas station stop and God told her to buy a lottery ticket from somebody. She didn't know who it was for. And she says it's for you. And then I see I can talk to him. I got enough composure. Because of course, these God jobs can get you choked up. So I said, all right. I said, I just want you to know something. Spirit and the angels want you to know you're supported. This money is meant for you, but it was given to you by God. I only paid $1 and did what I was supposed to do. God got you to win the lottery, and God wants you to know it's your money. And God wants you to know he loves you and supports you. And so this $200 is money that is for you. Now you buy her 2 dresses because it's at Walmart, and you buy your daughter some money, but a little extra money from you. And remember, you do have somebody supporting you. You do have somebody that loves you. And it's God. And so then he was like, oh, thank you. I said, thank you. Oh, we got out there. We said, oh, my God, that was the best buck we ever spent. I mean, for days we had joy. Wonderful joy. Now, it seems like sometimes things like this, the story ends. And I thought it was a great story. I was happy. I was going on to the next God job. That was just a fun thing. Well, guess what happened? This happened 2 years later. This is how God arranges things. Here's what God did for me. I was sitting at the hospital where I worked in Joliet. And it was about breakfast time. And my girlfriend and I are sitting there. Now, I did tell my girlfriend about this story because I said this was pretty neat. And she's sitting there with me and we're eating. And this lady comes in. And she says, you know, she says, I just heard something on the radio. You know, because it's Christmas time. And some guy called in and really said to me, I should be giving more and doing more. He talked about this lady from Chicago that was a nurse that came out visiting Billings, Montana, and gave him a lottery money. She gave him, and she told him it was from God. He said he has been paying it forward in giving to money to people ever since, and he has had prosperity as a result. And because of that Walmart ticket. And then she said, this has made me touched so much inside that I decided, why don't I buy a couple Walmart tickets? Why don't I approach some of these Walmart people and just say, okay, I'm just going to give you a ticket. And that's what she said to me. And then I started laughing. And then my girlfriend, she was going to say something, but I said, it's okay. But then, when I closed my eyes, God showed me this. I saw a pebble thrown out into a lake. And when the pebble hit it, woo, the pebble ripples went out. And then the pebbles came back to me. And when the ripple came back to me, then God said, this is my gift to you. That you see the difference. You don't ever know what difference you can make. That this has come back to you now that you have this joy. And that is how the story ended up. So you just never know how you can affect people. So that was another God-John story. Now this one, I'll tell you another God-John stories. What happened to us. So David and I had bought an RV, and we were going to go down to Florida in the RV. Because what happened, there is in Unity a famous Unity minister. His name is Jim Rosemergy. And Jim Rosemergy, he wrote a book called Closer Walk with God. And what I love about this Closer Walk with God, he gave you tips all about God. But what he says, which I love, he says, keep your eye on God and let manifestation be about his business. Manifestation is not your business, it's God's business. And I really loved it. And everything about him, I had several books I read about him. Why, we even went, our Unity people even started a Closer Walk with God club. That we got together, we would just talk about Jim Rosemergy because he was just so wonderful. Oh, I thought, if I ever saw Jim Rosemergy, I'd be so happy. But then, what God said is that Jim Rosemergy is going to retire. And he said, if you're going to see Jim Rosemergy, you should actually go down to Florida and spend some time with him. So I said, David, I think we should take a couple months off and go down and spend time with Jim Rosemergy in Florida. Because he's got some wonderful things to say, and I just want to meet him. So what we did was we went down there. And then when we went there, I know you can meet and talk to him. And so I said, let's meet and talk to him and tell him what happened. So I went in there and we were talking to him, and he says, well, what made you think you decided you wanted to come? Why did you come to Florida? And I said, we came for you. And he said, what? I said, because we wanted to listen to you and study with you. And then my husband says, my wife believes you are going to retire, and she wants to see you before you leave. And he said, I didn't tell anybody I was going to retire, but I am. And he says, well, it's lucky we're down here. And so while I was down there, the things that I learned and the things that happened while I was down there. So one of the things Jim said was this. He said, people want to ask God, what will you do for me? What will you do for me? Does anybody ever ask God what he wants to say to you? You don't. So he says, this is what we're going to do for our exercise today. He says, everybody, we're going to have a little meditation and quiet time, and then we're going to get quiet, and we're going to ask God, what does he want to tell you? And then when you open your eyes, and you're still a little meditative, you start writing, what does God want to say to you? And he will give you the answer. He will give you, talk to you. And you just have faith that God will do this, and it does work. So we all got together in this group that we were in and meditated and got this piece of paper in front of us, and we wrote whatever it is God wanted to say. Well, I started out telling God that the first thing I want you to know is that I love you and I appreciate your friendship and that you've always been with me. And then I stopped and let him tell me. And he said, why are you still working for the hospital? I want you to leave. And I said, and then he said, it's time for you to go. I want you to work for me, and I will help you. And don't worry about the money. I'll take care of this. And by the way, you said you love me, and I say ditto. And then I said, oh, geez, are you kidding? I make $43 an hour. Oh, man. I don't know about that RV anymore. I'm not sure. But then you know what David said? My husband is very supportive. And my husband says, if God says to quit, you have to quit. Look, you've done it since you were 15 or 63. It's okay to quit. I go, oh yeah, God, I guess I just always thought I would always keep going with all of this in the hospital. And he said, no, God tells you it's time to quit. You gotta go. So then that's the first thing I got when I was down there. Now here's another thing. And I wish there was some way I could pull this up. Because I have some very pronounced pictures of my dog. I have a little dog who's a Sheltie. And while I was down there, what happened? She pulls it up.
I can, we're going to try to help you.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, and so then what happened while she was down there, I was so busy with Jim Rolsberg, I did not notice something was happening to my dog. This little Sheltie, she picked us out. She was like in a, like a puppy mill. And we went for a puppy, but we realized it was a puppy mill. Let me see the hand.
It was like a cord that was pulled. Like you were thinking. And it was when she touched the tiki to the left.
Something disconnected, that's what it seemed like, it just went off.
So we had realized, so we realized that it was a puppy mill and we didn't want any part of it, but she was hitting us, our dog. 5 years old, she was a mom, right? And she was covered in mud, her teeth were black. I asked if she said, do you want that mother? I said, well, I don't want a puppy. And she says, well, if you want the mother, you could take her. She's $500. I said, is she neutered? No. Does she have any vaccinations? No. I said, what? I said, you got some miracle stuff happening? You don't even need vaccinations? I don't know. Then I said, I'm not getting her because it's ridiculous to charge that much for a dog like this. But she was bumping us, and when we left, she was looking at the gate, looking at us, staring. So the next day, all the way home, 2.5 hours, David and I were like, oh, we hate to leave her. I said, she's not even house trained. She doesn't even have a name. Oh, she's going to be something, this girl. Then we said, never mind. I had to go to work. He was off. He drove all the way back and got her. And so we call her Contessa, because she deserves it. But she had to be trained for everything. But we had a little golden that was good, and he trained her too. So now we've had her 6 years. So little Contessa is our baby. And then what happened, when we looked at her, she had this sore that was getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And then I said, what's wrong with her? So, while we were down there in Florida, I took her to the vet. And he said, I think we need to have a biopsy. You're going to have to bring her back tomorrow and get a biopsy. And I said, absolutely. So we brought her back, whatever you got to do, she's the baby. So we bring her in, they biopsy. He comes back and he says, I'll call you in 2 days. And it was my birthday. I go back there on my birthday. And he said, it's worse than I thought. She has a serious, fast-growing, cancerous tumor on her face. Okay, the one before, to show the face. Right there it is. That's her tumor. And he said, I can take half of her nose off. And I said, what? Oh no, I don't know about this. And then, what happened? All the way home, back to the RV, I was so upset, I could not stop crying. I said, it's my birthday. He said, want cake? I don't want anything. I told the guy, this is my baby you were talking about, buddy. Well, he said, I'm sorry, but she's done for. Done for. All right, great. Then what happened? I went to bed at night, and when I woke in the morning, God had a talk. And God said, is this veterinarian God? And I said, no, you're God. He said, that's right, I'm God. And the veterinarian is not God. So I want you to ask her what she wants. And you just listen what she says she would like. So what happened was, we said, okay. So we talked to her, and we told her, we asked her, if you choose to leave, it is okay, but do you want to stay with us? We want to know, what does your soul want? Believe it or not, she moved her lips like she tried to talk. And then David said, she loves us and is not leaving us. She wants to stay. I said, if you want to stay with us, buddy, then it's a full court press. We're working it out. Don't worry. So that's what we did. Now, I will tell you, this is 2 weeks later, the next one. 2 weeks. So what we did, I went over to Kmart and I bought myself a bike with a basket that she fits into, and I took her for rides twice a day all around the RV park, and I took her to the beach, and I kissed her in the morning, and we gave her joy. And then I got my bowls out, and we did Reiki bowl. We did our bowls on her. Then twice a day, she had our Reiki energy. We did Reiki energy on her. And then he told us to come back to take out her stitches, number 2. And he said, what happened? And I said, God happened. And he said, I don't understand. I never saw anything like this. I said, listen, this is called God energy, and she wants to stay with us. And this is what this is. So I don't want to talk anymore about how she's done for. And I thank you very much. If you'll just take her stitches off, I'll take her home with me. Then we took and we bought her a cute little amulet as well. That was something that we felt was a stone that we could put on her collar. She had a necklace that was a healing collar. So this is her. Now, March 20th is the last one, and what you can see with her is that it's only skin, dead skin. And now it has been, for us, almost 2 years since she's had cancer. And I took her to the doctor last week for a checkup, and they were so amazed that she's still in remission. They paraded her around to the other 3 veterinarians just to show them all about it. And now when she goes to the vet, and she's a Reiki dog, and she goes to the other dogs. And if they're going, wee, 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 she just comes right up and she looks at them, and they sit down, and you're like, okay. Because why? We still Reiki her because we think we do the Reiki and the bowls every day with her, because we say she's held together with Reiki. And we love her. I mean, she's quite a joy for us. And then the next one, let me see. Let me show you. Let me see. There it is. And so that's a picture of me with it. And she loves to go. When you tell her she's going on the bike, man, she gets all excited. And that's our little Reiki, and I always say that's me driving Miss Tessa. Okay. So now that I ended up, after I dropped from my job, God started giving me the ideas of what I need to do next. So, a few things are coming up for me, and one of them I'm talking about today, which is the bowls. Now I know there's a lot of people that have Reiki, that have crystal bowls, and I understand it. But here's what happened. I was looking at a bowl, on a vibratory or energy medicine thing on a TV place called Gaia, G-A-I-A, that you can watch, that shows all these interesting ideas that you can get on the internet. And it was talking about, it was vibratory medicine. And Stephen Halpern, who is a very much a music-minded gentleman, what he said was this. He had his bowls in front of him and he said, you know, he said, I don't know how to explain this, but he said, I have these bowls and I made a CD of these bowls, but what happened is, when people play the CD, different people hear different things, and how can a CD that is already established change the music? And I was like, I shut it off for just a second and I said, oh, wow. But then I said, wait a second, it's crystal. And crystal holds energy. So then God said, put the Reiki energy in the bowls. And then when you play the bowls, the Reiki energy will come out. You can put the Reiki energy in the bowls because they can hold energy. So I have my bowls, and I know a lot of people do have bowls. They don't have my bowls. Because why? I don't play them for entertainment or relaxation. I play them for healing. This is my goal for the bowls. I take Karuna Reiki energy and put them in the bowls with my husband in the morning. These bowls are in, we have a huge bedroom in the room with us. So that when we get up in the morning, we have a commitment to Chicago. We pray for Chicago every day. My friend, you know, she's on a commitment to Chicago. I pray for Chicago. And I believe that Chicago is like the center of the USA, and how the city of Chicago goes, so the USA goes. So we commit to Chicago. So every morning we wake up at 5. And then when we wake up at 5, we go to the prayer area in our bedroom where these are at. And what we do is we pray, pray for Chicago, we pray for people we know that need healing. And then we also do our Reiki, a Reiki cloud. And we fill the whole area with a Reiki cloud. Then we fill the cloud with symbols, the Reiki symbols. And the Reiki symbols for Karuna Reiki. We have the symbols. And I also, by the way, have had symbols given to me from Ascended Masters that I put in there. And I put all these Reiki symbols in here. So then what happens when we do it, we take our cloud and we put them in there. And then we ask Jesus and Karuna Reiki to be in the bowls. And so what I decided today was it would be good if I could play the bowls for you. If only one person needed healing and was helped by them, it's worth it for me. So I bought my healing bowls, and I wanted to give you an idea on what it's like to have the bowls. Now, if you feel that's something that you might not like, you know, of course, you're free to leave because I'll be doing the bowls. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this now, about working with the bowls and working with the crystal bowls. My husband and I, currently we're living with our son, but next week we're going to get a house. I do have a house that I'm going to have a prayer room and a bowl
No,
room
go that way.
specifically
this way.
for this. So I do think if you guys want to come forward a little bit, this may help. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I want to give you an explanation about this. And this is what I want to say. If through our images
Can't sit there.
we can reveal the heart of mankind, shine a light on what is precious and holy in ourselves and others, then let us find that in our midst and capture it in our work. Let us not wait for the heroic, conspicuous gestures, but rather look more carefully for those small daily kindnesses, those rituals of bonding and sharing that show us as people revering life, revering each other. Our sensibilities are assaulted on a daily basis by a press consumed with fear and destruction. Heartbreaking photos of a world run amok, wash over our days. We are berated with this. They invade our dreams. The shadow of humanity makes the news while the light goes unnoticed. The good unrevealed. So I encourage you to choose to let your dreams and your light be about spirit, and the world will have to bend that direction as well. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to have this, I'm going to do tingsas. These will symbol the beginning and the end to it, okay? Now I'm going to ask everybody, when you leave when you feel ready to leave. But I request that you do not speak to each other until you are outside. Because why? I want you to honor the sacred space. Before we came in here, I had this space ask the angels to be in this space with us. And I want this sacred space to be here. And if you have discussion and somebody is still here meditating or still a little in there, it will take away from their healing. So this is why I'm going to ask you, please be mindful of other people and honor them as well. Thank you. Can you turn the lights down a little bit? Thank you.